Tonight on Sports Desk, we head to Mark Light Field for Canes baseball opening day.
Miami Hoops gets a huge win over Clemson at the buzzer.
And we check out a new student section that will make baseball at the Light even more exciting.
All that and more. Sports Desk starts
right now.
I'm Ed Reed, and you're watching Sports Desk.
Hi, I'm Jim Kelly, former guy. You're watching Sports Desk.
What's up? I'm DJ Williams, and y'all watching Sports Desk.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Sports Desk. I'm Simon Lear.
And I'm Grace Smith. Well, Simon, it's a big night here at the U, opening night for Hurricanes baseball.
That's right, Grace. The Canes are about to take the field at the Light to open up their 2019 season, and UMTV reporter Brendan Riley is there to check it out. Brendan?
Yeah, Simon, opening day is finally here. It marks the start of the 75th season of Miami Hurricanes baseball. It also marks the start of a new era. Gino DiMare, the longtime assistant coach and former player, finally gets his chance to right the ship and get Miami back to the postseason, a place where they haven't been in 2 years. Last Tuesday, our reporter Cameron Dobbs was here at the Light for Media Day and got a chance to catch up with Gino and some of the players about their road to Omaha.
Manny Diaz has brought a new energy to the Canes football team. While just down the street, Gino DiMare is doing the same with Canes baseball. And the transition from pitching coach to head coach has been seamless.
My wildest dreams, and I think I was going to be a coach here. I dreamed as a kid sitting in the stands playing here.
He's extremely excited. He's been waiting 20 years for this opportunity, so it's just jumping out at him.
He was, always a fiery coach and a go-getter and a hard worker, and he's done the same thing as a head coach. He hasn't really changed.
But Gino's brought a lot of energy to the program.
After a tough 28-26 record last year, DiMare has pushed the team in the offseason.
You just can't give in. Every day you got work, and they've been doing the same thing. And that's the good part about our catching staff.
He expects everybody to work as hard as he does. It's a good thing.
This is a new team. It's a 2019 baseball team. They're not the 18, they're not the 17 team. And I'm excited to see what this team can do. These guys are very aware of the last couple of years. But I think everybody's looking forward to a new start. As we know, we got to find a way to swing the bat better, but most importantly, score runs. We got to find ways to score runs, and I'm looking forward to that as a coach and trying to find those ways to score runs.
Reporting from Mark Light Field, Cameron Dobbs, UMTV.
And the season is officially underway, and with that, I'll swing on over to Charlotte and Max, who are here at the Light earlier today with a preview of this weekend's matchup versus Rutgers in this week's edition of Inside Pitch. Guys?
Welcome to Inside Pitch. I'm your host, Charlotte Payne, joined today with analyst Maxwell Trink. We are here at Mark Light Field, where the Canes are going to be taking on Rutgers tonight in the home opener. So, Max, that pitching rotation has a lot of depth, and redshirt junior Brian Van Bell was just added to the weekend rotation. Talk to me a little bit about how you think that's going to change the team's dynamic.
Yeah, and Charlotte, Brian Van Bell, the JUCO college transfer coming in from Broward College, already going to make an impact on this Hurricanes rotation. J.D. Arteaga, the pitching coach, said it himself. If he would have been with the team for a longer time, he would have been the Friday night starter. Yes, the ace of this entire staff. So Miami's going to really rely on him to make an impact already, especially on rubber match games like this Sunday against Rutgers, in the future against Florida, and against Louisville.
So there are no seniors on the staff this year. The Canes are definitely going to need those younger guys to step up to the plate. Talk to me about the captains for this year.
It's pretty much going to come down to two guys. Gino DiMare announced them. Michael Amditis and Evan McKendry. Two guys that are veterans to the program, but they still aren't seniors. But Miami's going to really rely on these freshmen and sophomores coming in, taking bigger roles, but really the biggest way that both captains can help out this team is by staying on the field. Amditis has been hurt a lot of times, and McKendry has also had his injury problems, but Miami's going to really need both of those guys to stay on the field, first-hand experience, and that's going to be the way they're going to lead this team.
Now, Max, I know you know the keys to beating Rutgers this weekend. Tell me them.
Well, pretty much what it comes down to is don't overdo it. The season's very long, over 50 games for Miami throughout the year, and there's only one player that played all 54 games last year, and that was Freddie Zamora. Miami's going to really rely on the staff just staying the same, staying throughout the year and healthy. So Miami's going to need all those guys to stay out and be healthy, be able to play throughout the year. Another factor, Alex Terrell. did not hit as well as he was supposed to last year. It was compared to Yonder Alonso, hit home runs, had the powers like that, but only hit 1 home run last year, batted under 200 for the entire season, and only played 33 games. They're going to really need Terrell to step it up in a big way. Left-handed power bat for Miami. It's going to be important for him to make an impact right away in his sophomore year. They're going to really rely on him, especially with a young team. And, of course, the starting pitching for Miami. Rutgers had an over 4 ERA on the entire staff, but Miami's going to need to rely on their starters throughout the entire year.
And Canes fans are excited to get to the park this season. You can hear the buzz on campus. They're actually debuting a new student section tonight. I'll have more on that later, but for now, back to the studio.
Coming up, women's track and field is gearing up for yet another run at the ACC Indoor Championships. And one sophomore is looking to sprint her way into the record books. We'll have the story right after this.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made home ownership happen. Homeschooling yourself on loans, beefing up your credit score.
So I'm pre-approved.
You were like, yes! Sorry. Color coding listings, ticking boxes, and flushing every toilet in a 20-mile radius. Home sweet home. You aced house hunting. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
On Friday, a big announcement made by the Basketball Hall of Fame. Beatrice Montpremier has been added to the Lisa Leslie Center of the Year Top 10 list. The Miami native is the only member on the list that wasn't on the preseason list. The Hurricane has dominated the hardwood with 19 double-doubles this year. Montpremier adds this to a long list of achievements, including 3 ACC Player of the Week honors. A donation is also making headlines for the UM women's basketball team this week. This one, the largest gift in program history. All thanks to longtime supporter BJ Abbolt, the 7-figure donation becomes the first fully endowed women's athletic scholarship at the U. It will give one member of the women's team a full scholarship to the U every year. The name of the endowment, the Katie Meyer Women's Basketball Scholarship. Abbolt chose to name it after the women's head coach, saying Meyer, quote, is the most dynamic person she has ever met, and that it would be an honor to be associated with Coach Meyer's program, end quote. That women's basketball team looks amazing. I could totally see them in March Madness.
They sure do, and they probably will be. The Canes won't, the men's team, but let's take a look at what happened on Wednesday night. Well, here we go. Wednesday night at the Watsco, DJ Vasiljevic gets the Canes started, taking it to the rack. He would lead the team with 22 points in this one. Now Chris Likes from way downtown. What a season this man is having. He'd finish with 21, and the point guard just keeps causing trouble for ACC defenses. Here's Likes yet again. It's another three-pointer. This one puts Miami down just 2 going into the half. The Canes would actually pull ahead early in the second, but it's the Tigers now coming roaring back. That's Shelton Mitchell finding Clyde Trapp on the outlet pass, once again making this a one-score game. Now with 3 minutes to go, Chris Likes puts his defender on skates. Shifty as ever, he's really mastered that low center of gravity. Now here we go, final seconds. Clemson now back on top. Zach Johnson turns around from just inside the key and he nails it. Huge wave of relief as Johnson gets some love from his teammates, and the Canes get the W, 65-64. Our Hurricane Hang Time crew breaks down the win.
Welcome back to Hurricane Hang Time. I'm your host, Cameron Dobbs, here with Tommy Sullivan and Eli Griswold. The Canes men's basketball team is coming off an exciting win this week after a buzzer beater against Clemson. Tommy, what did the team do to contribute to this win?
Yeah, this was an awesome ACC win at home for the Canes.
When you look at the game as a whole, it was pretty back and forth the entire way. What helped push the Canes over the top was their guard play. Starting with Chris Likes, he had 21 points on the day. Awesome game for him. Also DJ Vasiljevic, 22 points for him. They really led the way. Obviously the most important play of the day was Zach Johnson's shot off the glass with less than a second remaining to put Miami up 65-64.
The team takes on Boston College this Sunday. What do they need to do to get yet another ACC win?
Yeah, Canes looking to build some momentum here on Sunday. What they need to start doing, number one, is shooting the basketball efficiently for the entirety of the game. They had a tough first half against Clemson. If they can shoot the ball for the whole game like they did in the second half, they should have a nice game. Number two, how well can they shoot the three-point ball? When you look at Chris Likes and DJ Vasiljevic, that really helped when they started hitting those threes in the second half. Finally, you're going to have to look at the Canes' paint presence. Ibuka Izundu had a very quiet game the other night against Clemson. If he can come up, grab a lot of rebounds, hit some points inside, it's really going to take some of the pressure off of Miami's guards.
And the Canes women's basketball team has had an exciting week as well. After beating Pittsburgh on Sunday, they're now ranked 20th in the nation. Eli, what has been key to their success on the court?
Yeah, the Hurricanes have been hot recently, making their way into the top 20 for the first time this season. It was a really, I don't want to say it was a dominant performance against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh struggled all day to get anything going on offense. They shot around 26%, and they were limited to 2 points in the second quarter. And during the second quarter, the Hurricanes went on a 13-0 run, really put that game away. Beatrice Montpremier stepped up once again, 23 points and 13 rebounds. That's her 19th double-double, which leads the ACC.
Coming up, they take on number 2 ranked Louisville. What do they need to do to get yet another upset?
And it's going to be a really tough game against Louisville coming up. Louisville's ranked number 2. They're going on the road. It's going to be a competitive environment, and they really need to step up on defense once again. If they can hold the Louisville offense in check, they should have a good chance to come on top. Louisville's scored around 70 points in their last 5 games, and they're on a 9-game winning streak, so it's going to be really tough.
And that's all the time we have for Hurricane Hang Time. Back to you at the desk.
Hurricane athletes crushed personal and program records at the Clemson Tiger Paw Invitational this past weekend. Among the frontrunners, Tiana McMinn winning the 60-meter hurdles and earning the ACC Women's Indoor Performer of the Week. Also Simone Mason, Brittany Ellis, Michelle Atherley, and Kayla Johnson. They had one of the nation's top 10 times in the 4x4 100-meter relay. Kayla Johnson had a stellar performance overall, winning first place in the 800-meter run. A big accomplishment for the sophomore who had a tough start to her freshman year. UMTV's Tommy Sullivan gives us a closer look at her big comeback.
Next weekend, the track team heads to the ACC Indoor Championship, but it means a little bit more for runner Kayla Johnson.
It's amazing, just checking that off my bucket list.
The sophomore had her promising first year cut short because of an injury.
It was pretty depressing. Of course, I wanted to run in the ACCs and at nationals, but everything happens for a reason.
Head coach Amy Dean believes Johnson has done everything she can to be ready for her shot at redemption.
She's really been training hard and very focused, and she's made leaps and bounds in the weight room. So I think all those things are going to pay off for her.
And so far on the track, it has.
Well, I broke the 600-meter school record, so that was pretty awesome. And winning the 800 at Tiger Paw, and also just being confident in each race and having fun while doing it.
The 800-meter race is one of the hardest, but Deem thinks the results all depend on Johnson's mindset.
If she makes up her mind that, that she belongs in that race, I think anything can happen. She is really ready to run fast and run a huge personal best. She's just got to, stay focused on her race plan and execute her race.
She may race the sprint, but Johnson's journey to next weekend's race has been a marathon. For UMTV, I'm Tommy Sullivan.
Up next, my co-anchor Simon Lair gives us an inside look at what exactly we can expect from the new Miami and how head coach Manny Diaz truly embodies the Miami swagger. Stay tuned. And now it's time for some trivia. With National Signing Day in the books, the University of Miami's football team has a stacked incoming freshman class. Which one of Miami's signees got a shout out from comedian and punter Pat McAfee? Was it A, Christian Williams, B, Avery Huff, C, Keontra Smith, or D, Lewis Headley? We'll have the answer next.
All right, so where, or when I should say, do we think Machado and Harper are signing?
December.
I'm going to go May the 4th.
May the 4th?
May be with you.
Hi, may I please have an application? Thank you.
Skip the drama. Get your diploma.
Okay.
Take that first step towards a better future. Find free adult education classes at finishyourdiploma.org.
Welcome back. If you guessed D, you are correct. Lewis Headley committed to Miami in early February, and more than just Canes fans were excited about the signing. Former All-Pro punter Pat McAfee tweeted out that he can't wait to see the 6'4", 215-pound punter take the field for the Canes this fall. A big announcement for women's tennis this week. They are now number 15 in the nation, according to ITA rankings. This comes after 2 home wins over Baylor and Texas Tech. It makes the U's women's tennis program the highest ranked of all 4 Florida schools in the top 25, including number 20, FSU. They head up to Tallahassee this weekend to face the Seminoles to start ACC play.
Miami football desperately needed a savior after a disappointing 2018 season. Enter Manny Diaz. In just over a month, the Hurricanes' new head coach has already changed the culture within Miami's football program. Let's take a look.
It used to be that if you grew up playing football in South Florida, you dreamed of being a Hurricane. For 20 years, Miami rocked everyone in their path. 5 titles, countless future NFL stars, the whole city was hooked on the Canes.
Manny Diaz was no exception. Born and raised in North Miami, Manny was 9 years old when the Hurricanes won their first national championship. Yet by the time he graduated high school from Miami Country Day, the Canes had already won their 4th title.
He was a Hurricane nut. He absolutely, everything he did was Miami Hurricanes. And the fact that he went to FSU, I think, was kind of it was tough at the beginning for him because FSU Miami at that time, what a rivalry.
Yes, for a brief time, Manny Diaz was a Seminole. But even going to school in a sea of red, the Miami native bled orange and green.
When he got the defensive coordinator job, he called and he said, "Coach, it's my dream. I'm coming home."
There are some people who learn leadership, they study it, and they develop it. And there's some people that are probably natural leaders. And even in student council when he was 13, 14 years old, you could see that he had a lot of leadership potential.
Diaz has already turned that potential into results. His first example, convincing star wide receiver Jeff Thomas to rejoin the team after his abrupt departure in December. The next move, bringing in Dan Enos. The once presumptive Alabama offensive coordinator is now the OC for the Hurricanes, and Manny Diaz is a big reason why.
Obviously, I know people that have worked with Manny and been around him, and everything came up A+. Good person, good husband, good father, good coach.
Diaz refers to his culture change as the new Miami, but we'll have to wait until the fall to find out if the Canes truly are a different team.
This football team is not very far away for competing for championships, and maybe it just takes me. Maybe it just takes me.
The Miami Hurricanes have been trying to get back to their winning ways for almost 20 years now. Maybe it just takes Manny Diaz. For UMTV, I'm Simon Lehrer.
Even though the NFL is out of season, football news is pouring in. Our head-to-head crew discusses the Browns signing controversial running back Kareem Hunt and the impact of the Alliance of American Football in this week's edition of Head to Head. Guys?
Hello and welcome to Head to Head, where we get heated about the hottest topics in the world of sports. I'm Skylar Sands, here with Justin Heyer. Today's first question, the Cleveland Browns have signed Kareem Hunt. What happens next?
Well, to me, when you're evaluating the situation, you go straight to General Manager of the Cleveland Browns, John Dorsey's statement. He specifically said that their signing of Kareem Hunt is not a condoning of his actions, which were obviously awful. It's more a way to give this person a second chance to be a better player on the field and a better man off it. Something we've seen with players like Brandon Marshall, players like Ben Roethlisberger, who have done questionable things in the past.
I disagree.
And went on to
there should be
great
no
things in their
space
community.
for this in the NFL. There should be no tolerance, and Roger Goodell should not be okay with this. Again, the NFL hasn't even given his punishment out yet, and the Browns have already signed him. No action is action, and the Browns don't care. The NFL is one of the biggest companies in the world, and there's no space for it.
We got to move on to our next question, which is a different brand of football. It's the AAF. Tell me how you think it'll impact the sport of football in general.
Unfortunately, I just don't see it with the AAF. Again, right now it's new, it's cool, it's what people want to see, it's football in the offseason, but once the NBA and the NHL get to their playoffs, the fan base is going to die.
Listen, if you're not seeing it, you're not looking in the right place. The AAF is going to be a developmental league for players who didn't get a chance to have their shot in the NFL, players who deserve that chance, who've devoted their entire lives to football. And not only that, it'll be a breeding ground for some incredible things that can move over to the NFL, like no kickoffs, no overtime field goals. These rules can make a huge difference in the NFL.
There's college. It's the biggest college sport in the entire world.
It also doesn't compete with the NFL. It doesn't run into the NFL season, which I think will be huge for extending football in general as a sport.
All right, well, unfortunately, that's all the time we have left for today. Back to you guys at the desk.
Still to come, we head back to the light where reporter Brendan Riley gives us a preview of UM athletics in this week's Hurricane Happening. Don't go anywhere.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made this vacation happen.
Double points with every purchase?
Cleverly merging promotions.
I love it.
Cross-referencing travel sites. And booking all your flights with those...
vouchers. I got us bumped.
They were like, oh. But now they're like... Aloha. You aced this vacation. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate. It's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
The Canes, alongside Category 5, have introduced a new student section to bring school pride to Mark-Light Field. Reporter Charlotte Payne got an inside look at the new Spirit spot and the process throughout its creation.
It's first game for new manager Gino DiMari and his club. The university's Spirit organization, Category 5 and DiMari are providing a new experience for students at the Light, a dedicated student section.
It's always about creating like an atmosphere at the stadium or in the stands or wherever where, you know, kids can kind of come together as one to cheer on, you know, the teams that we all love.
The new section is right above the opponent's dugout and has a great view along the third baseline.
This is the student section. So I think it'll help because it's like, oh, I know exactly where to go. Like I can come early, I can come, you know, if I'm late one day, it's easy enough for me to just, you know, go to the baseball game. So I think it'll help. You know, because it is like that designated section, people know exactly where to go, and it's also just like a comfort for people.
As for the players, they hope that this brings a better home field advantage.
Just having students out here in general helps, just because you know you have a big support system, and you can relate to your students. You know, you go to the class, kids are talking to you, so that's always fun.
Creating a student section and, you know, having a designated area where students can get together and cheer for the team can have a very positive impact on the team and the success of the team.
Well, that was Charlotte Payne reporting. UM actually has a 1-0 lead right now at Mark-Light Field.
Day and end of the first.
Heading over to women's
right now,
tennis, the Canes are traveling to Tallahassee to
Zamora,
arch rival Florida State tomorrow at noon. On the hardwood, women's basketball travels to Louisville to take on number 2 ranked Cardinals at 3 p.m. on Sunday. Finally, that same night, men's basketball will tip off against the Boston College Eagles at 6 p.m. in Chestnut Hill. As spring training kicks off in Major League Baseball, many notable free agents remain unsigned. UMTV reporter Alex Manella is here to tell us why the stagnant free agent market is bad for baseball on this week's Manella's Moment.
The middle of February means back to work for pitchers and catchers in the MLB. And before you know it, players from all positions will be reunited in Arizona or Florida for spring training. However, there's still an unimaginable amount of talent left unsigned. Cy Young winner Dallas Keuchel, perennial all-star Manny Machado, and former MVP Bryce Harper all remain without a club to report to. It's crazy to think that clubs aren't lining up to land any of them or plenty of the other talented athletes before the start of the season. Now, the past 2 years has seen a sluggish free agency market in the MLB, and it seems like things are only getting worse. How do we find ourselves in this situation? Astros pitcher Justin Verlander shared his frustration with free agency on Twitter. He cited a, quote, broken system, saying that teams rebuilding would love to land Machado or Harper. And now, while I agree that the system is broken, the teams aren't the ones to blame. The whole situation started when agents put ideas in players' heads that they were worth insane amounts of money. Look at Bryce Harper's agent Scott Boras. Now, don't even get me started on this guy's reputation, but he's filled Harper's head with the idea that he's worth $400 million. Let me say that again, $400 million. How are any franchises supposed to drop that much on one player and still expect to sign decent players at other positions? It's absurd to think. But it seems like the ownership in baseball and the players themselves need to go back to school and get their business degrees. They need to realize that there has to be a happy balance between getting a good deal on a player and not bankrupting an organization. Players need to forget their greedy agents and think about not only their future, but the future of the organizations that's putting their faith in them. If this problem isn't solved soon, another players' strike could be on our hands, and no baseball fan wants to see that again. That's Manella's Moment.
The NBA dunk contest always produces highlight reel moments, but there's nothing like throwing one down in a real game. With the dunk contest coming up this weekend, Orlando Magic guard Terrence Ross reminded everyone why he won the competition just a few years ago. To Orlando we go. Magic about to close out a blowout win over the Charlotte Hornets, and Terrence Ross, no he didn't. Up under the basket, neither defender can do anything about it. Just look at that move. What a statement from the 2013 dunk contest winner, saying, "Where's my shot at the second title?" A team-high 21 points on the night for Ross. His performance had the whole bench out of their seats, and Orlando goes into the All-Star break with a blowout win. Yesterday for Valentine's Day, Hurricane Athletics showed their love for fans and athletes alike with some punny Valentines perfect for your sporty sweetheart. Tennis has a score of love 15 for my heart, proclaiming "you know one for me," while basketball simply called us a messing and promised that we will always have my Kia to their heart. Some of the Valentines even featured baseball players reminding us that every kiss begins with K, KKK, KKK, and that they'd always put you first because they play second. How did they know that sports and puns were the way to my heart? Which one was your favorite?
I'm a big baseball guy. I gotta go with the KKK.
But they definitely were all home runs.
That's for sure.
Speaking of, with the game against Rutgers underway, we better go join Brendan at the light and see how the Hurricanes are doing.
That's all the time we have for today. The Canes will host Rutgers at Mark-Light Field yet again tomorrow and on Sunday. And we'll be right back here next Friday for another edition of Sports Desk. Thanks for watching.